Hi there, this is Angel with Tech Tutelage, and in this video I will show you how to build free Ubuntu server on Oracle Cloud, how to install LXQt, and how to remote into it using xrdp and Microsoft Remote Desktop. LXQt is a free open source lightweight desktop environment, and so far, at least in my opinion, seems to be the one that performs best with Oracle Cloud free Ubuntu server. If you think you know of other desktop environment that runs better or how to tweak it to get better performance out of it, please let me know in the comment section. I'm going to be doing this installation from scratch, so all you need to be able to follow along is Oracle Cloud account. First thing you want to do is go and log in into your Oracle Cloud account, and then you can go ahead and click here on instances. Once you get into the instances page, you can go and click on create an instance, and here you can give your instance a name. I'm going to call mine Ubuntu LXQt, and then down here leave the placement the way it is. Sometimes I've seen it where it tells you that there's not available resources in your availability domain, especially when you use the free tier. You may see that. Then you may want to go ahead and change your availability domain to something else, but in my case I usually always leave it to the default, and then I only change it if there is not available resources in it. So then the next thing here in an image shape is you can go ahead and click on edit, and we're going to change this from the Oracle Linux. We will choose the Ubuntu here. So I'm going to get the latest 2204 from Canonical, and then you can go ahead and click on select image. And then down here in shape, we're going to go ahead and select their ARM processor. So we're going to click here, and here we're going to change the default settings, and we're going to get all the available resources that they give us for free. So we're going to put 4 CPUs. So you can drag this all the way to the end here, and that'll give us 4 CPUs and 24 gigabytes of RAM. Then you can go ahead and click on select shape, and then I'm going to scroll down a little bit here. You can leave networking to the default settings. Down here, if you want, you can go ahead and add your own SSH keys. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and generate a pair. So I'm going to click here on save private key, and I'm also going to save the public key. That way in the future I can go ahead and build instance with this public key and use that same private key. So once I have these two downloaded, you can scroll down a little bit. Here you can specify a custom boot volume for your machine. The default one is 50 gigs, but Oracle gives you 200 gigs for free. So if you want, you can go ahead and change this. And it's probably not a bad idea to go with the full 200, since we already used all the free available resources when we gave our machine 4 CPUs and 24 gigs of RAM. So there's no reason to leave that 150 gigs out there not being used. So once you select your boot volume size, I'm going to go ahead and click create, and this will start our instance, and this will take a couple of minutes. But once it's ready, this big tile here is going to turn green, and it will tell you that your machine is ready. Alright, once your machine is up and running, you can go ahead here and grab your public IP, and we're going to use that public IP to SSH into our instance. So I'm going to go here on my terminal, and you can use your terminal, or if you're on the Windows, you can use PuTTY or any other tool that allows you to do SSH remote connection. And here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch to my downloads directory, because this is where my key got downloaded. So if you downloaded your keys in a different location, make sure you either go to that directory or give a full path to your key. In my case, I'm just going to switch to downloads. That's why I can just give the name of my key. So once I'm in my downloads directory, I'm going to run ssh-i. And here I'm going to give the name of my key, and make sure you give your private key. So you're going to put your private key here, and then that's going to be followed by your user. So in this case, the default user for Ubuntu instance on Oracle Cloud is Ubuntu. So you can type Ubuntu, and then here you can paste the IP that we just copied earlier, and I copied my key in my clipboard, so I have to go back to the screen and grab that IP. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead here and paste that IP, and then you can hit enter, and that will bring you to your instance. You can say yes here, and that will connect you to your instance. Oh, one thing I forgot, since we just created that key, the permissions for that key are pretty open and SSH doesn't like it. So here it tells you that you gotta change the permissions. It doesn't like the 644 permissions. So what you want to do is you're gonna run chmod, and usually I make it 600. That way only the user that owns the file can read and open that file. So I'm gonna say chmod 600, and I will give it path to the file. And now that the permissions on the file are changed, I'm gonna go ahead and run my SSH command again to connect to the server. Once you're in the server, you can go ahead and switch to root. You can run everything as other than root user, and everything in this tutorial should work, but I like to do it as root because I just don't like having to put sudo in front of every of my commands. But again, if you want to use it with user other than root, which is probably the best thing to do, go ahead and do that. So now that I switched to root, I'm going to go ahead and go to a root's home directory. And once I'm in root's home directory, I'm going to run apt update to get all the updates for my repositories. And once my repositories are up to date, I'm going to go ahead and run apt upgrade to get everything upgraded. And this will take a few minutes here. Here you can click OK, and you can just press tab and click OK. And once we have everything updated and upgraded, we can go ahead and install LXQt. So the first thing I'm going to do is clear my screen, and then I'm going to run apt install, and I'm going to start with LXQt. That's our desktop environment. I'm going to also install a package called SDDM. This is going to be our desktop manager. And I'm going to install a third package called xrdp. This will be the tool that will create our RDP server that will allow us to remote desktop into our instance. And once you have all these three packages listed, you can go ahead and hit enter. And as you can see, this is almost 2 gigs of packages that need to be installed, so this will take quite a bit of time. So I will be back with you when this is done. And once you have installed everything successfully, assuming you didn't see any errors during the installation, the next thing you want to do is just make sure that your xrdp is up and running. So I'm going to run systemctl status xrdp. Now what did I do wrong? Oh, I missed the S. So systemctl status xrdp, and as you can see, our xrdp is loaded, active, and running. And as you can see here, it is running on port 3389. So the next thing we want to do is go ahead and open port 3389. And on Oracle Cloud, there are a couple places that we have to do that. First, we're going to go ahead in our Oracle Cloud account here, and we're going to search for Virtual Cloud Network. And we're going to go ahead and click here on Virtual Cloud Networks. And then here we're going to select our Virtual Cloud Network. And on the left side, we're going to scroll down and go to Security Lists. And on the Security List, we're going to open our default security list. And we're going to add a rule here that we're going to open the port 3389. So down here for destination port, we're going to put 3389. And for the source, in my case, I want this to be open to the internet, but you can use your home IP. That way, only connections from your home IP will be allowed to connect to the server. At this point, I don't really care, since this is going to be server that I will destroy after this video. I can just open it to the internet. So I'm going to do 0.0.0.0/0. But again, if you are going to be the only person that's going to be connecting to this server, and you're going to be doing this only from your house, you can go ahead and enter your public IP for your home network. And just remember that usually your IP is not going to be a reserved IP. So that will every once in a while change depending on your internet provider. So if you restrict it here to your current home IP address, make sure that you remember that if you're unable to connect to your server, you're going to have to come here and change it, because it's most likely that your internet provider changed your IP. And just so you know, if you want to know how to get your home IP, you can go ahead and all you have to do is Google what's my IP, and Google will show you your IP. So if you want to do this to restrict it only to your home, you can grab this IP and replace it here instead of this 00 address, and here after the slash, instead of the 0, you're going to have to put 32. Anyway, so you can go ahead and give it the description here. So I'm just going to say RDP. So next time you look at it, you remember why you opened this port in your rules. I'm going to click on Add Ingress Rule, And once we have this open, then you can go back to your terminal. And here I'm going to click on the Q to get out of this XRDP status screen. And I'm going to clear my screen. And the next place that you want to open 3389 port would be your iptables. So you can go and do nano etc iptables, and then you can do rules version 4. And then here, what I usually do is I just go down here like this, and I just copy this for port 22. I copy this rule and I just paste it above, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and change the port, so 3389. And once I have this port, you can do Control X, Y, and Enter to save. And then I'm gonna go ahead and reload my rules, so you can run iptables restore, and then you can give it the path to your iptables rules version 4 file. So it's gonna be etc iptables and then rules v4. You can hit enter, and that will reload the rules version 4 file with the new entry that you did there that opens the remote desktop port. And now once we have our port open, I'm going to go ahead and create a file into my root home directory. So you can check your current directory. In my case, I'm in my root home directory. If you're using different user, again, make sure that you're in your user's home directory. And I'm going to create a file called X session, and that should be a hidden file. So I'm going to say nano dot, and then the file is called X session. So X session like this. And in that file, we're going to type a command that will start LXQt session. So I'm going to type start LXQt. And then you can go ahead, save and close your file. So Control X, Y, and Enter. And now that we have the file saved, and you can go ahead and open your remote desktop manager application. In my case, I'm going to use Microsoft Remote Desktop on the Mac. You can use this in the Windows or whatever operating system you're using, or whatever remote desktop manager you're using. So I'm going to go ahead, click on the plus button here, and I'm going to click on Add PC. And here in the PC name, you're going to give it the IP address. So I'm going to go back here to grab that IP. So I'm going to type instances again. Okay, and here from my instance, I'm going to go ahead and copy my public IP. And then I will put it here in my remote desktop manager. And I can give it a name here. I will call it Ubuntu LXQt. All right, and you can go ahead and add this connection, and then go ahead, double click, and that should start your remote desktop session. It's gonna ask you for a password. Oh, and of course it's not gonna work because I didn't set up a password for my root user. So what I'm gonna do is go back to my terminal here, and I'm gonna type passwd, and I will set up a password for my root user. And once I have my password created successfully, I'm going to go ahead and try to connect to my server again. Connect, and then enter root and your root password. And once you're in your server, it may take a minute or so for it to load the very first time. You're going to see some errors here. It's not a big deal. Some of them are because it's trying to find, for example, your sound mixer. And again, you're running a server and you wouldn't have a sound card on it. And some other things that are more specific for like laptops and stuff. And it would throw a few errors here, but just ignore those. That's not a big deal. But once you have it up and running, the first thing that you're going to want to do is go ahead and click here in the Start menu. And then we're going to go under Preferences, and we're going to go to Window Manager Tweaks. And here what you want to do is you want to disable compositing. So you're going to go under this Compositor tab, and here Enable Display Compositing. I'm going to turn this off. That definitely makes the performance of that remote desktop better. So I'm going to go ahead and check this off. And I always like to reboot my server after I do that. Technically it should work without rebooting the server, but I always like to go ahead and reboot. So I'm going to go ahead, close this, and then I'm going to go click here and then reboot. And after a quick reboot, it usually works much better. So just give it a couple of minutes here for the server to start again. All right, now that our server is up and running, I'm going to go ahead again, double click here on my connection, connect. I'm going to run my root. And there you go, I'm into the server. And again, you can just ignore these. I never really looked into them to see if there's a way to remove them, but just ignore them. And that's it. You have your LXQt desktop environment up and running, and you can go ahead and play around with it a little bit. Hopefully it's working pretty good for you. I've noticed it is not perfect, but it's much better than anything else I've seen. You can come here and take a look at the system tools, and you can open your htop. And as you can see, you're only using like 600 megabytes of your 24 gigs of RAM. So very low resources, and also your CPU, very low utilization of the CPU. I mean, you can go ahead and move your window, and you can see it's still lagging a little bit, but it is something I guess I personally can live with. You can go ahead and start your web browser to just kind of see how the internet connection works. Again, it's not perfect, but it's better than anything else. I'm going to click on YouTube just to kind of see how fast YouTube will load. Not perfect, but pretty good. So I hope this video was useful for you. If you liked it, please click the like button. And if you want to see more of my videos, please go ahead and subscribe for my channel. Thank you for watching.